Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us today for another live during Black Breastfeeding Week. Tonight's live is a panel. We have a panel of teen moms, and they're going to talk about their experiences around parenting during COVID. My name is Crystal Tennille Irby. I am the host and executive producer of Dim Black Mamas podcast. And tonight, your facilitators will be Marketia White and Jatine Tinsley. And so I am going to read their bios and then we'll go ahead and get started. But first, if you all could tell us where you're from, talk a little bit about your journey in breastfeeding or why you're interested in this panel tonight. And also, if you have any questions, we'll be taking questions at the end of the panel discussion. So just put those in the comments as well. And if you just want to show us some love, if you want to touch and agree, if you want to say yes, you can give us some hearts, or you can just show some love in the comments as well. And we'll put those comments up on the screen as the panel discussion goes on. All right. So again, welcome. Excited to have you here. And I'm going to get started by doing one of my favorite things, and that is reading the bios of Black women. And the reason that I like to do this is because I want Black women to have all the roses while they're still here. They work so hard, and we work so hard, and we rarely look back and realize all the stuff that we've done. So I feel like reading someone's bio while they're present makes them be like, oh, I done a couple of things, I've been doing stuff, and it kind of pours into them. So it's one of my favorite things to do. So here we go. So our first facilitator for tonight's discussion is Marketia White. She is a founder and community advocate of a nonprofit organization called Mamas. Ooh, that's my phone. I did not put it on. We live, y'all. I didn't put my phone on. Do not disturb. And as you can see, everything is connected. So when my phone goes off, all my computers go off. But we live. That's how we do. Okay. So here we go again. Marketia is the founder and community advocate for a nonprofit organization called Mamas in the D to address the lack of advocacy for teen mothers to access the resources needed to ensure self-sufficiency in their motherhood and personal endeavors. With a background in teaching and nonprofit leadership, Marketia has worked with servanthood in mind. She cares deeply about empowerment of girls and strives to bridge the gap when it comes to education and normalization of sexual and maternal health in the African American community, specifically with adolescents and teenagers. Originally from Atlanta, Georgia, Marketia graduated with her Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology with a minor in business in 2014. She recently graduated with her Master's of Public Administration from Central Michigan University and is closely affiliated with the work of Reaching Our Sisters Everywhere, Incorporated, also known as ROSE, and wants to continue her maternal health education by becoming a certified doula. Welcome to the club, boo. Welcome to the club. And an IBCLC. So let's welcome Marketia.
Hi, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Crystal.
Our next facilitator for tonight's panel is Jatine Tinsley. She is a multimedia journalist who delivers news to Southeastern Michigan's viewers. Her favorite thing about her job is learning new and exciting bits of information and meeting new people daily. Jatine has written on a diverse array of topics, from a feature report examining the risk journalists assume while working in foreign hotspots to a food article that looked at the culinary marriage of bacon to a double fudge. What? I need to read that. I'm from the South. I need to read that. To a double fudge brownie. This native Detroiter earned her Bachelor of Science in Communications with a concentration in Broadcast Arts from Worcester College. She has a diploma in video production from SPECS, Howard School of Broadcast Arts. It's a lot of happy Howard alums right about now. So
yes.
All really representing hard.
Yes.
Additionally, Jatine studied comparative journalism in Europe and holds 2 certificates in public access television. Currently, Jatine is the communications associate for Black Mothers Breastfeeding Association. So welcome, 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 welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Everybody up. So I'm going to turn it over to you all, and they are going to introduce tonight's panel.
Thank you so much, Crystal, for that amazing introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. I am Jatine Tinsley, and thanks for joining us for this year's 2020's Black Breastfeeding Week. This year's theme is Revive, Restore, Reclaim. And to celebrate it, we are having a team panel discussion, as Crystal said, featuring young moms. We have special guest, Marketia White from Mommies in the D. She's here to discuss why Black Breastfeeding Week is so important amongst the initiatives that she takes on at Mommies in the D. Also joining us today is Detroit native Destiny Martin, who is a mother of one and aspiring entrepreneur looking forward to advancing minority communities. We also have 20-year-old Kayla Howard, who is currently training to become a CNA as a kickstarter to her nursing career. She is a Detroit native who became a mom at 15 years of age. And next, we have up 22-year-old mom, Ariel McNeil, who is mother of two, a 2-year-old. She's the mother up to a 2-year-old daughter, not a mother of two, but a mother to a 2-year-old daughter. Ariel has a career goals of becoming a Black activist, a poet, and a writer. And last, but certainly not least, is 20-year-old mom of two, Albany Doolin, who is currently looking forward to studying accounting. Thank you so much for joining us and celebrating Black Breastfeeding Week's Revive, Restore, Reclaim. And we're going to jump right on in with Marketia White from Mommies in the D. Hi, Marketia.
Hi, how are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much again for coming on and learning a little bit more about these amazing moms. As Crystal was saying, we definitely want to give our roses to the moms as they're here. We want to lift up stories. And so it's so important that we're here today. My name is Marketia White, and I am the founder of Mommies in the D. And Mommies in the D's mission is to empower young mothers to achieve personal and parenting goals by establishing growth-centered environments and constructive collaboration supports personalized social, economic, and emotional development. And I've been doing this work since 2017, where I've been able to either help mothers just find resources or just in general want to make sure that they are able to find community around motherhood. So it's so important that they are lifted up and their stories are being told. I'm able to collaborate with community organizations such as BENFA, such as Rose, Mother and Justice, or any other organizations, Birth Detroit, to bring forth the knowledge of breastfeeding, of maternal resources that are available in the community. And so this is just very important that we're able to get the word out about all of the awesome resources that are for mothers. Black Breastfeeding Week is so important to me because not only are there disparities in being a young mother or even having an unattended pregnancy, but the biggest thing is to make sure that the mothers are understanding that this is a time to celebrate them, celebrate their decisions to make the best healthy decisions for their baby, whether that is their first food or just in general, making sure that their motor skills or they're able to have that same interaction with their mother and know that, hey, this is definitely an opportunity for us to grow together. So I love helping. Kayla and Albany actually were some of my first mothers that I was able to help out. And then Destiny, I was able to meet her this year. And today I've been able to serve 40 moms ages 14 to 22. So I'm so excited to be here and for you guys to learn more about their stories, because these are really the amazing moms that have the stories. I'm just bringing it to light.
Thank you so much, Marketia. And I think I want to ask you a direct question. Where does your passion come from? You are so passionate about Black Breastfeeding Week and community. Where does that stem from?
So I honestly was raised around Mama Bug or Kamari Bug, who is the founder of Rose or Reaching Our Sisters Everywhere. And honestly, being around babies openly breastfeeding and seeing the work that was put into the community from her really drove me to continue on this work. Because when I came to Detroit and just in general saw so many areas where moms had dreams and just in general they want to push forward, but there weren't a lot of people advocating for them. I had to stand up. Like, a lot of people will not hear these stories of Kayla or Albany or Destiny or Ariel. Like, these are amazing women, and their work, even the other moms that I have, their work should be lifted up. We have moms that are entrepreneurs. We have moms that are just in general great students, or they have dreams, and those things should be able to be seen. So I want to make sure that their work is shown, and making sure that they are definitely reaching their goals. But what I do is really to just try to push that forward, and my passion really more so comes to make sure they have the upper hand as well.
Thank you so much for that. And we're gonna jump right in to our moms with the first question, which in celebration of Black Breastfeeding Week is going to be, what do you guys enjoy most about being a mom?
I would say that my favorite thing about being a mom is that, like, I can see her grow up. I can show her how to, like, become a woman. I can teach her all the things that I wish I could have known. And it's just an amazing experience that I would wish upon anybody to have.
Thank you. Kayla?
I think just seeing them grow, and they the only people that I have, so I have support from them.
Okay. Thank you so much. Is Albany gonna jump in?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. What do you enjoy most about being a mom?
What I enjoy most about being a mom is just to have someone look up to you, like to watch them grow, the unconditional love, no love like a kid love. I don't know. It's just a different type of love.
Thank you so much. I can only imagine, like you say, the unconditional love, watching them grow. Those are some great answers. So next question up is, what are some of the concerns or fears young moms have, and how can we as a community help young moms overcome them? Like, what were some of the concerns or fears you had when you found out you're going to be a young mom, and what can our community do to help other young moms overcome those fears?
Personally, I would say that one of my fears was, would I be able to provide the way that other moms are more older and seasoned would be able to? Would I have enough to give her, because I'm a single parent as of right now, and mainly it's life changing. So it's not only about you anymore, it's about the baby and their future as well.
Okay, thank you.
Well, at first, when I first found out that I was pregnant, I did not know how I was going to take care of my baby. I was like, what the heck? I was scared, but I found the way, and that was about it. It was, oh, that's all I was scared for.
That's understandable. I think a lot of moms who are older feel that way too. Albany?
Yes. My fear being so young, only 14, start.
Oh, it looks like you muted yourself. So just click the unmute button.
I'm sorry, but
That's
yeah.
okay. Okay.
So yeah, only being 14, having a son, so I was so scared. Like, how was I gonna provide? How was we gonna eat? But I mean, I got summer jobs programs. I started working instantly. Anything I can do, I tried to do anything to provide for him. I tried. Schooling was so hard for me to go back to school with the support system. I mean, I had support system, but it was so hard with the schoolwork being behind, all that. So that's really fears. But I think the fears is mothers being so young and they just be so scared to reach out to other people.
Mm-hmm. Ariel, did you have anything to say on what were some of the fears that young moms may have, and what can the community do to help with those fears? Like what can we as a community do to help other young moms? What would you have liked to have been done to help you and other people in the same situation?
This is a good question, you guys. What were some resources that were possibly could have been in school or possibly being available to you guys as you guys were finding out that you were pregnant, or just in general? What resources would you guys have liked to see if you guys lived in a perfect world?
I would have liked to see, like, more schools offering more programs for people that had babies at a young age, because most young mothers that I've seen that were going to school at the same time as me, they either dropped out and they're going, like, fortunately for my school, they had an alternative program where you could still go, you could come in, it was an online program. So I would like to see more of that in schools instead of them looking down upon the young mothers. It's this program called Pregnancy Aid that helps with I think teen mothers and mothers going up to 20. So I think more businesses like that would help as well. And I think that would be it on my end.
Okay, that sounds great. I agree. Anyone else? Kayla?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. Ariel, do you know what you would have liked to see better to be supported in your community as a young mom, or what you think other young moms would like in their community for additional support? No? Okay.
I think she's trying to answer.
Oh.
I was gonna say more I think a support system that would help is just being able to talk to other people, older people, without a little bit of a judge-free place where you can talk to other people about concerns and just getting stuff off of your chest, about being a mother and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that would be a lot helpful.
Okay. That's I agree. Absolutely. So moving on to our next question. Did you guys use any resources to help educate yourself about nutrition for your baby? And did you think that the hospital could have better supported you?
I would say you said can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, my daughter was screaming.
No, it's fine. What resources do you use to educate yourself about being a young mom or nutrition for your baby?
I would say were you talking?
No, what?
I definitely feel like there's definitely something missing as far as helping young mothers with nutrition. I didn't really get much support from the doctors. We had weekly appointments every now and then, but other than that, it wasn't really much that anybody told me about nutrition other than what I looked up on my own.
Okay. So were you able to kind of utilize the internet and resources like that to try and ask questions and gain information?
Yeah, literally all the information I got about, what was right to feed my daughter at what ages and stages in her life, I got all off the internet, mostly YouTube.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's an excellent resource. Sometimes we forget about the internet and YouTube. YouTube has a plethora of information from baby feeding, bottle feeding, breastfeeding. There's tons of information on YouTube. So that's an excellent resource, Ariel. Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, and Kayla and Albany, do you guys want to talk about some of the ways that you guys found or how we kind of went through every webpage to make sure we found resources for you guys?
Yeah, I was gonna say Miss Kiki was a good resource, support for resources. She helped me find a lot, and even personally helped me. And like I look on the internet, but yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's good.
And Albany, I saw you're about to talk. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Okay, some good resources for me was my WIC office. My WIC office really had good resources for me. My kid's doctor really had good resources for me because I've been knowing her. That was my doctor, and I made her my kid's doctor because she's the best doctor. I say Henry Ford really is a good hospital. They really had a lot of resources for me. Also, Marketia, the best one and only. Most definitely, she had me prepared for everything.
Okay. Albany, I'm so glad that you mentioned that your doctor had a lot of resources for you, whereas Ariel mentioned that her doctor didn't. So maybe something that we can gather is, and I didn't always feel like this. I used to feel like, oh, maybe you can't do this. Is this right or wrong? But hey, you know what? You can switch doctors. Sometimes if a doctor is not giving you what you feel you need, it's okay to cancel him and switch. So I think that brings up a pertinent point that we have one mom who says her doctor didn't have enough resources, one mom whose doctor had a lot. So we can tell other people in the same situation, maybe not to be afraid or concerned about reaching out to a new doctor or finding out if they can get, a different hospital or different doctor that would provide more information. It's great that you women both had different perspectives to share. Thank you so much for that. What advice do you have for teen moms and young moms who lack support and might be scared?
Okay, what I say is just don't be scared and just don't let nobody judge you. Just overcome your fears and just if you have to talk to somebody, let somebody talk to you, support or whatever. Like I just feel like moms just so scared to talk because they feel like everybody gonna judge them. But no, sometimes everybody don't judge you. Everybody go through the same thing as you. So I just feel like some moms just to talk more to other people.
I would like to add on to that. It's it's a lot different than it was back in the day. We have a lot more resources than a lot of moms did back then, like the internet. It's Facebook, like it's literally a million black mom, teen, any like literally black mom, and then whatever you want to add on to it, literally millions of those groups on Facebook. Is millions of forums on the internet that you can find that can help you whatever you're looking for. Like that's literally was my saving grace. Like just looking for answers everywhere on forums and stuff like that helped out. So don't be afraid to look around either.
And that's a great point, Ariel. Thank you so much for bringing that up because, like, a lot of people don't know where to look. And hopefully Mommies in the D can offer some of those avenues to where they can look in this one-stop shop and find what they're looking for. Like these resources are definitely out there, but they want to find you as well. So definitely
Hello,
researching is a great. Yep, Destiny. Oh, yeah, yes. Yep. We can hear you.
Oh goodness. All right. My internet shut out for a minute, but
You're okay.
All right.
Yeah, Destiny, did you want to add
I couldn't hear you.
Did you want to add on to that? Did you want to add on to any advice that you would give to moms that might be scared or how that they can possibly find resources for their birth or breastfeeding or any of those maternal resources?
Oh yes, the Detroit Urban League. Like I think they work with WIC. I'm not sure if it is WIC, but they have a great breastfeeding source. They have lactation consultants that can call you, check on how your journey's doing. Also for like the teen mothers, like I was saying, Pregnancy Aid, they are a good agency for you to go with. They offer classes based on baby nutrition, also breastfeeding support. I think it's learning how your baby is like. I think it's the baby cues and everything. It's basically teaching young mothers how to be parents as well. So that's a great organization to look at.
okay. And this year's theme for Black Breastfeeding Week is revive, restore, reclaim. What does that mean to you? And why do you guys think it's important to have Black Breastfeeding Week?
I think it's important because it gets to shine a light on it. I feel like in the Black community, well, like in my community, that I'm familiar with, a lot of people don't really think breastfeeding is important. They don't think it's a necessity, um, and it shines a light on it. It shows people the goodness of it and brings us all together.
I
Absolutely.
think I think you said why breastfeeding, like Black Breastfeeding Week, is so important and the revive, restore.
Mm-hmm.
I think Black Breastfeeding Week is very important because most of the time you think of breastfeeding, you don't think of women of color, you think of the opposite. And it's also putting light on how, like, the back in, like, I think, like, back when it was slavery, most of the slaves, they used to breastfeed the master's babies for them. And that's bringing attention to
Uh-huh.
that also
Uh-huh.
because we need more Black and minority breastfeeding mothers, like, and people that are in that profession to bring, like, more of an attention to Black mothers that want to breastfeed but think it's not for them or anything, and more things of that sort.
Albany, does Black Breastfeeding Week mean
Exactly. Exactly. I
to you?
agree.
Albany? Well, she'll come back on. We can keep going, Jatini.
Okay. Um, what advice do you have for any teen moms who lack support or are scared just to be in the situation of being a teen mom? Like, what advice do you have for them to kind of get over their fears and get to the point where you are, where you're guest on a teen mom panel sharing such vital information?
Okay, I'll go first because I was 19 when I first found out I was pregnant, and I didn't tell anyone in my family until my baby was here. So I was extremely afraid to hear what my family had to say, but surprisingly, literally, I had so much support. It was amazing. I was so shocked. So it's like you can be afraid, but you really won't know how people will take it. You'll be surprised how they take it until you tell them. So don't be afraid. And at the end of the day, you can't have a kid forever.
Thank you. You're that's amazing because you say you were scared, but then when you revealed everything, you had support. I think some people are really, really scared. I think some adults, older people fall into that category too.
Right. I was gonna say the same thing as RE. I'm sorry about the last question. My phone kept going in and out. But yeah, I
Okay.
feel like some mothers just be so scared. It's like I feel like don't be scared. Just get over with it because some people don't always judge you. Some people just be ready for the support. I had the best support system. I mean, I was scared for a minute to tell everybody, but once I told them, I mean, they supported me from here on out, and they still support me now. When I'm 20, they still support me now. So
Okay. And
Yeah.
now we're going to be switching gears a little bit, and we're going to be talking about parenting while during this global pandemic that is the novel virus known as COVID-19. Um, how did COVID-19 change your life as a mom? And how is being a parent in this whole era of COVID-19?
For me, it was extremely hard because I went from being a working mom to a stay-at-home mom, which was a complete 360 for me. My daughter was in daycare, and it went from, okay, she gets dropped off and she spends her day with other kids, and to it being all on me. So I had to entertain her. I had to make sure she was learning, and and it's like I'm with her more than I was when I was a working mom, and it's a complete, like, it's such a complete different world. Like, I didn't realize it. Like, I'm with my daughter like almost 24/7. So it's like I'm trying to balance being my own person and being her mom at the same time.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say the same thing as Ariel because I've been working since I was 16. So me stop working to be a stay-home mom was different. My son was at school, his first year of school for him, getting to light school for him not to go to school, him to ask me every day, Mama, can I go to school now? Can I go to school? Can I see my teachers? Can I see my friends? But I can't tell him that he can't go to school because there's a virus out there. Then it's really hard for me and him because my son is asthmatic, so I have to watch what he around because the mask he barely can breathe because he need asthma. So it's like
Wow.
that's why I just keep him in the house. I have to do what I can. We got the internet.
Wow. I can only imagine how hard it is.
Man, because he really is he be in and out the hospital with his asthma. The season change. That's why he just in the house because the schooling system, all that is just so it was just so crazy for me.
And Albany, did you want to share a little bit about like your perspectives on the virtual learning for a preschooler?
I feel like the virtual learning is okay, but for me, I feel like for a preschooler, the preschoolers need in school learning because like they make the virtual learning more like games online for the preschool. The preschoolers they think everything is games, but it really don't be games. It really be trying to teach you. That's what my son he think everything is a game because everything be games. So I feel like the virtual help just a little bit, but I feel like in school learning would be more better for him.
Thank you so much for sharing. And Destiny, did you want to share any of your perspectives on parenting while in COVID? Like, how is your beautiful relationship with your daughter? I know it's awesome, but how is everything for you?
I think it's like a little bit the same. I think the only thing that changed is and made it more difficult was the fact that once the COVID-19 hit, she didn't really get to experience a lot of stuff because she was still a newborn, and a lot of people didn't get to see her yet, so they kind of affected their relationships with her because she doesn't know anybody at all except for the people that she lives with, and the fact that I couldn't really get out of the house because everybody was quarantined, so it was harder to get the stuff that she needed. Because everybody was buying up all the diapers, all the wipes, and everything, and the formula. Even though I don't give her formula, but yeah, I think it just made it harder because of the inconvenience of the stores and the bonds that she would have had.
Mm-hmm. That's understandable. That is understandable. You know what? I know we're on COVID, but I do want to circle back because Destiny just mentioned you didn't give her a formula. Where did you learn about breastfeeding and breastfeeding resources? Because I know as a teen, I didn't really know a lot about breastfeeding. Actually, as an adult, I didn't know a lot about breastfeeding. My mom didn't breastfeed. My grandma didn't. So I think that, older people and younger people might be able to learn something from you.
Oh, I don't give her formula, but I did notice that it wasn't a lot of formula at the stores that I that's in my area. But they you said how I learned about breastfeeding and what was the question about that part again?
Yeah, how did you learn about breastfeeding and any breastfeeding resources? Any of you can answer if you even had any breastfeeding resources.
Mainly I learned by my aunt. She breastfed both of my cousins and I was always interested in how, like, the nutritional value was compared to formula. So I started to attend these breastfeeding classes at the Detroit Urban League and Parenthood. I think it's Planned Parenthood. What was it called again? Pregnancy Aid. That was it. And I started to get more interested in it once I had, went to those classes and read up more about it. So I just chose to go down that route because I wanted her to have everything that she could have got from me instead of getting out of the formula, because it's not a lot that they give you out of the formula that's compared to the breast milk.
Okay, a lot of my resources came from Marketia, but my other resources came from my midwife. She really wanted me to breastfeed with my daughter. She wanted me to go to all the classes. She kept telling me, "Go to the class. You missed this class. Why you didn't go? I didn't see you in the class." I'm just so antisocial, I don't really like going to like other stuff. So, but yeah, Marketia had me prepared with all the resources and my midwife.
And she delivered at Ford, so the WIN network was all over her for sure.
Yeah, I found out about breastfeeding. I had a few people that I knew, it was a select few people, not anybody in my family, but I know in my daughter's, her dad, he a couple of his sisters did breastfeed, so they did, shine a light on that for me, but I really didn't know too much. I tried it, but I wasn't successful with it. But this second round, I got a little bit more information, so.
Okay. And what do you guys think our community can do to get more information out there about breastfeeding?
They could perhaps, oh, you can go, Ariel.
I'm sorry. Okay. I feel like things like this could help a lot more resources around. I believe DHS should be a little bit more involved. Just things that we're familiar with should, definitely shine a light on it. That would help a lot.
I think that they could incorporate it more in the hospitals, like when you're going to your OBGYN appointments. They don't really talk about that a lot, but if they do, you have a good doctor. But maybe in the schools they could talk about it more in sexual education, and that's all that comes to mind right now.
Those are some amazing answers. Okay. I definitely am agreeing with Destiny when it comes to the sexual health education, because especially in the Detroit public schools, with them only teaching abstinence, there's only so much that they can do as far as teaching and making sure that prenatal health is included in the education. They more so go towards abstinence, or assuming that no sex before. But that isn't what the case is. And so I definitely agree with you, Destiny, that there needs to be a little bit more talked about. And especially if Wayne County is experiencing these higher numbers of unintended pregnancies, then there should be gateways to where the schools are having partnerships with these community organizations who are dedicated to making sure that you guys have the right resources.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now we're going to circle back, because I forgot that question. We're going to circle back over to COVID. This was one of Marketia's questions that she's really passionate about. COVID-19. It also includes the era of Black Lives Matter, the movement. You've got police brutality, oppression towards Black people in general. Can we ask, how has this affected you as mothers and your views on how you want to raise your children in light of the Black Lives Matter movement and what's happening to Black bodies.
Ariel, go ahead and go girl. Destiny, of course, you could go too.
You said the question was like, can you repeat that? My phone, my laptop is going in and out.
So remember the question.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
Sorry. Oh no, I was just saying. So, and I know that people are getting kicked off. They're coming back on. But Destiny. So the question. Remember when we were talking about how the COVID also includes Black Lives Matter and understanding a little bit more about police brutality. We're at home, so we're seeing the oppression of Black people right on our phone screens. How does this impact how you plan on raising your daughter, and just in general understanding what is needed to be done in the Black community?
I think that what needs to be done in the Black community is more equality, because of the fact that we're viewed as lower in status, and in race as well, because of the fact of our backgrounds as in slavery. People are still thinking in those days, and I think they need to that's a hard question. I think they need to
I think you're right. I think you're
no, you're doing good. No, I mean, this is a lot to think about. Yeah, no, this is a lot to think about.
It's a really sophisticated question, and I think you're right on. There needs to be more equality. There does.
And Ariel and Albany, we're talking about the Black Lives Matter, or just in general, the era of COVID, what it means to Black people, and what is being shown on social media, or just in general, the oppression of Black people being kind of highlighted. So if Ariel or Albany wants to chime in, how are you guys kind of framing your parenting, knowing what you guys know? Like, how are you guys wanting to frame your parenthood, especially around this COVID time, and that this is our reality? Ariel, can you hear us? Albany, can you hear us?
Okay, for me, to be honest, I'm really scared for my son, for him growing up in this community with all the stuff going on, because he's a Black individual. And it's really hard.
And it was actually interesting because her son is definitely an adventurer. So it's very interesting, like kind of trying to teach prehensiveness to a child, like when you're trying to teach them, oh well, you can't go in their yard because or you can't do these things, and they're like, oh well, I'm just playing. And so it's very hard to explain that, and Albany definitely can share a little bit more about that. But like it really is hard, because like he wants to play, he wants to do these things, but then you're also trying to teach them that there's boundaries, or that you don't want to teach them fear and take the childhood out of them. But Albany, like, are you nervous for him to like have an experience that like would allude to him kind of understanding that he's different from someone else?
I'm sorry, can you say it again? You keep going, and I was kind of staticky.
Okay, sorry. I hope you can hear me now. So I was saying, are you nervous around about or kind of looking forward to him understanding what his differences are when he's looking at someone else that might not look like him?
Yes, because now I be trying to explain to him now, because my son thinks he's white because he's light skinned. He think I'm Black while he light because his skin. He's lighter than me. I'm dark. He be like, Mama, you Black. I'm white, Mama. But Ruby, I be had to tell him, like, no, you is a Black African American. You Black, and we both Black. My skin just lighter than yours. But it's different people that's white. You Black though. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of nervous and kind of scared for him.
I think a lot of people share that same sentiment. You know, a lot of people are scared. They're scared for their children. They're scared for themselves. They're scared for family members, brothers, sisters, everyone. I definitely agree with you, Albany.
And this in general was a hard week because we continue to see, like, that's why I have on my paraphernalia, because like we continue to see this. We can't, no, but for real though, like we continue to see this happening. And it really, like we're trying. I mean, I would love Ariel to talk. Like Ariel, I want to let you chime in. She talk about Black activists. Like she but like just in general, like
disheartening. Yeah, it is. Actually, with my daughter, I haven't really put too much thought to it because she's younger. But I do have a nephew. He's 7 years old. He stayed with me for a couple months during COVID, and he's experienced everything. And I've sat with him, and I've seen how he felt about things, and it's depressing. It's depressing. He's afraid of the police.
So many of us are.
Yeah, it's like he's afraid to have white friends because he's afraid that they don't like him. You know, and just having to sit there and talk to a young man who barely understands how life really works, you know, having them see that, you know, you're hated, you know, it's hard. It's defeating. There's no right or wrong way about it, but just I feel like I need to be open with him and let him see these things, let him know, let him have an open mind and make sure he know, yeah, you know, in the outside world, you may not be able to speak your mind, but you know, at home, you have this amazing support system. You can talk to us about anything, however you feeling, whenever you're scared. You know, we're here for you. So being together, I feel like that's the most important thing to do is to make sure that you know the kids know at home we have your back, and just educating them on everything that's going on. Like, yeah, it's a lot of bad things going on. Hopefully, we can figure out a way to end it one day. Hopefully, by the time they get older, you know, my nephew trying to go to a protest. I didn't allow him to go just because of the writing.
and I thank her for sharing. I know that she cut out, but I want to thank her for sharing because that really is the reality of a lot of moms like around the world right now, but just more so, especially for these moms living in Detroit, especially with everything happening. Like, you know, I just want to make sure that we are uplifting these mothers because I know that Albany has a son, Destiny has a daughter, but at the end of the day, these are things that we have to make sure like we're uplifting these mothers so they're understanding and they're not scared. Like we can't keep these conversations to ourselves. It's depressing, like having to talk to Albany and like, okay, like, have you had that conversation with your son? You know, I just want to make sure that we're just highlighting that for a second because that is all a part of what COVID is. So go ahead, Justine, with your other questions, but I had to make sure that that one was answered for sure.
Okay. So I have pros to parenting during COVID, and what are some of the cons, of course, to parenting during COVID?
So what she just asked you guys was what was the pros and cons to parenting while in COVID?
I would say a pro for me would be that since my baby was still young, I didn't want a lot of people like coming in the house during that time, knowing that there was still gatherings going on, and like you didn't know who had it. It was impossible to trace it. I didn't want people around here, so I'm glad that prohibited people from coming and trying to kiss on her and infecting my household. But a con would be the fact that she couldn't bond with her family, and the fact that it happened, and like, you know, it's like changing the world, so she won't be able to experience the things that we got to experience as babies and as children and everything, and it might change reality as we know it. Also because of the fact. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Destiny, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying, like also the fact that, like, you know, her grandmother missed out on a whole some of milestones and other things that she probably would have seen if it wasn't a pandemic. Yeah, mainly just that.
Oh wow. That's really big because I mean, especially with older individuals being affected with COVID, I'm so happy that you're able to, you know, like I mean, you know, like especially with the internet or just in general FaceTiming, that's not common for, you know, the older generation. So it's really great that, you know, you're able to like understand, okay, these are the people that definitely like when the world opened back up, like this is the person that I want them to see. Especially those older generations, though, connecting them is so important. Ariel, do you have any pros and cons of parenting while in COVID?
Yeah, okay. so, so I believe the cons are, for me being a mother of just one right now, it's really hard because my daughter does not get to connect with other kids like she used to. She we go outside, but it's like I'm all she has. Like she isn't able to talk to her cousins and visit her friends from daycare. The most fun she gets is going to the grocery store. So it's really hard. So and
I feel like that's the most fun I get.
Right, jumping for joy.
and the pros, I guess we have spent a lot of time together, which not as much time as I got to spend when I was working. So I'm definitely taking in the time I get to spend with my baby. I'm getting a lot of time in one-on-one learning with her, getting her vocabulary up and her numbers. She counting to 30. She's 2 years old and she counting 30 something, you know. So yeah, so more pros and cons, but I mean the cons are there.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit. Oh, did I interrupt somebody? Oh, okay. What activities do you all use to help keep your kids engaged during this time? Because like you just mentioned, Ariel, there's no more playtime. There's no more going out and going to like daycares. So now it's like you've become the daycare. So what activities do you kind of use to infuse a little bit of playtime?
Okay, so a couple things that I've done a lot. So I put in a sandbox outside so we get some outside time. So I bought a trampoline for her, and she has a little bike she's ride. So she gets some time outside to get the sun.
Okay.
Inside, we're doing finger painting. I got her a chalkboard, so you know when she's learning, you know she writes out her shapes. Another thing that helped me a lot is I wasn't really a parent for electronics, but it really helped me a lot. Learning games for kids her age, it helps. Kids YouTube, Elmo, Sesame Street, little games like that. So the tablet helps because it has lots of games on there. So I give her a couple hours a day, doing that. And her favorite thing is, yay, mommy, I did it when she finished the game. So that's fun. What other things we do? A lot of puzzles. I got a lot of puzzles for her, so she put puzzles together. A couple things, stuff like that. I'm still trying to find more things to keep her interested because, she'll get interested for a minute, then it's like, okay, on to the next. So
That's a lot of stuff though that you got going on. Wow. It sounds like a lot of fun over at your house.
Yeah, kids be over there. Yes.
Right. Trampoline, ooh, sandbox. That's all. You sounds like you got a lot of
Right.
stuff going on.
What about you, Destiny? How do you keep your baby entertained? Because she loves your attention. I love it.
Mainly what I like to do is I like to make sure she's on top of her milestones and everything in her development. So I like to do tummy time with her in the morning when she wakes up. I have these videos I like to it's called Sparkabilities. Teaches her shapes, her colors, her numbers, syllables, consonants, and how music goes, the do re mi fa sol la ti do. And another way I keep her entertained is I like to try to take her around the house, teach her what certain things are for, like the refrigerator. I'll tell her that's for food, or I'll bring her to somebody's room, and I'll have them interact with her because she can't interact with her people that's not in the household. Have her video chat so she can see her people that's not in the household. And I try to take her on car rides whenever I can, so she gets to see the outdoors, so she won't just think the world is my room or anything. They go like, oh, this is the only thing I know. But yeah, that's basically what I do on it every day.
I think that's a good point that you mentioned the video chat. That gives an opportunity to connect with people outside the house. That's a great idea.
Yeah, especially because she can't make those memories that she would have had with her cousins that's the same age as her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. So, did you learn anything new? Any new patterns about your children while being at home? Since now you're almost always at home with them because of COVID, did you learn anything new about your children?
Yes, I've learned that my daughter she does not like to sleep. She is not a sleeping person. She's not a nap person. She's a 24/7 wants to play. It's like it's no stop to her. And
Yeah,
I also noticed she's very bubbly. She's rambunctious. She likes to just go crazy.
That baby is an explorer, and I love it.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, she is going to be amazing when she grows. She is an explorer. She is an avid liver. Okay.
yeah, yeah. And she likes something she don't know. She's gonna find out. She wants to know what it is.
so she's inquisitive. That's great.
One thing I would say that I learned about Kanaya is that she has my exact personality. She likes to she's a tech savvy. So if I'm on a laptop or anything, she'll try to smash on the keyboards. She doesn't like to sit in one place for a long time. Her attention span is so little. Like if I play the video I was talking about for too long, she'll get cranky, want to be carried around the house because she doesn't know how to crawl as of right now. But
okay,
yeah, she likes to be carried around the house a lot. And she she's very humorous. This is one thing she likes to do. She'll wait for somebody to say her name and she'll start to dance in a way. If she's on her tummy time, she'll start to do this little, I forgot what it's called. It's like a little rocking back and forth dance. But yeah, she's
Her little scoop.
yeah, that little thing. She'll wait for somebody to say go Nunu or something and start dancing. I'm like, where do you be learning this stuff from?
Is anybody's child still listening to the Baby Shark song?
Yeah, she's crazy over that.
Yeah.
If I turn it off, she get angry till I turn it back on.
Okay.
Yeah, my baby go crazy for Baby Shark.
Yeah. I have a couple of friends and their kid, Baby Shark is like the thing, the jam. So, how did you practice self-care during this time with COVID? There's so much on your plate because you have your child full-time. You have to now become, the nursery school, the teacher, and you're also the parent, but you're also a woman in your own right. How are you practicing self-care during this time and taking a little time out for, a little me time?
For me, it was extremely hard because I went from her being in daycare, so I have a few hours to myself, to her being with me. So it was a complete 360. I didn't know what to do, honestly. Because like I said, I'm with her 24/7 almost. Like she won't even sleep in her own bed. So what I have to do especially since she doesn't have anybody else in the house to talk to. So I have this burden on my back, like, oh my God, I'm not just gonna have her just sit in the room and be depressed, So I'm trying to find a balance, but we both get our time a couple hours out the day. I'll give her my tablet and she'll sit in her room and, do her games and everything while I get, either some rest, whatever I decide to do, relaxation, I try to do that in a couple hours before bed. I let her sit in her room. So a couple hours, I just try to divide it, make sure she know, like, hey, this is the time set for you to sit in the room and, while I do me.
Oh, okay. So it looks like we have about 10 minutes left. So we're going to take some questions that we have kind of queued up here. And we have one from Deidre Washington, who wants to know what motivates you to breastfeed and how did you overcome people telling you to give formula?
I would say, what motivated me to breastfeed was the fact that I knew that, it would have more nutritional value than formula. Like, it was times in the nighttime, like when I first starting off breastfeeding, where I would wake up at like 3 o'clock and then 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and I was getting very overwhelmed. That, like, I kept it in mind that, like, it's helping her build up her immune system, and it's helping me because it's shrinking my uterus back, and it's, like, preventing me from getting ovarian cancer, breast cancer, and it's also helping us to bond, because of the oxytocin hormones that it's producing. And, like, mainly because when I was reading about formula over breastfeeding, formula has more, like, it's like more like you giving sugar water to a baby instead of, like, vitamin A and minerals and everything that's included in breast milk. So that helped me to keep motivated.
Thank you so much, Destiny. We have another question from Camille. Excuse if I mispronounced the last name, Brio, Camille Brio. And she wants to know what your thought is about childcare being provided in the school or in tech GED programs. How do you think, would that be beneficial, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that would be very beneficial because, now in the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of daycares, they, like, closed down because of they didn't want more than 10 people in the room or anything like that. So if they did have something for the parents that are going to school to get their diploma or their degree to, like, put their children in, even if it's, like, only for, like, an hour or so, that would benefit them because, a lot of people, they don't have support systems where they could just leave their child with their parents or with their baby father or, like, any friends or anything. So that'd be very good. I think my mother had a daycare in one of her, I think it was either high school or college. She had a daycare she could drop my brother off at when she was getting her degree.
Okay. That's amazing.
And also, I wanted to mention that in Detroit, there is a school called Pathways Academy who does have childcare available when the schools are open up. I know that in September, they are going to be just virtual, but is actually a high school that is available for teen parents altogether, and they serve up to 21-year-olds. So I know that they are also providing those kind of childcare, and we're helping them out a little bit more because I'm one of their partners for this year. So we want to make sure that those moms also get the resources that are available for maternal or just in general goal-related goals.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's a great resource. We have Siobhan Walls, and she wants to know a little bit about, do you think it would be beneficial to teach about breastfeeding in schools so that we can normalize it more?
Destiny, what do you think about that?
Yeah, they should most definitely put it in schools because, they think like, the people in my generation, they don't really rely on breast milk as they should. They don't even know, like, the nutritional value of it. They don't know, like, about the anatomy of it or anything.
Mhm.
They're just used to people giving them a can of formula and then mixing it with some water, and that's it for the, like, baby feeding routine. But if they put it in the schools, it'll get more normalized, because people nowadays, especially my generation, they see it as a sexual thing, breastfeeding, rather than feeding the baby, because like how they over sexualize the breasts. And so they put that in the, like, in the education system early on. It won't like continue to be like that in the next generation.
That's such an important point to make, with over sexualizing the breast, and that's the exact reason why people sometimes feel the way they do. Even some adult people, unfortunately fall into that category. So I thank you so much for your perspective. I'm going to give a quick shout out. We have a Jennifer Orange who wants to thank all of our Teen Mom participants today. She says, wow, Teen Mom perspectives are rarely honored and valued. Thank you. This is so awesome. So we've got some people that I can't read them all, the shout outs, but she definitely wanted to say thank you for your perspective. So there is that. We also have Rashonda Lugrand, who thinks this is a lovely conversation that you all have contributed to. So thank you, Rashonda, and thank you, Destiny, and all of our teen moms. Let's see. We have Shannon Barris, and it looks like she has a question for the young ladies. That is, what can we do as health care workers to help encourage young mothers to breastfeed?
I think that like there could be more programs or events sponsoring breastfeeding, like how Marketia does, like how she does a breastfeeding week thing, like how she has people to talk about the anatomy of the breast, and then the young mothers to talk about their experiences, also with the importance of Black breastfeeding. And also like you could have more what's it called, like more information in the hospitals about it, like posters or anything. So if it is a young mother that's expecting, if she sees that poster, she'll be encouraged to breastfeed over formula. Like more OBGYNs talk about breastfeeding, like the benefits, because I know my sister, she's in Texas, and she said that her OBGYN gave her I think it was already made Similac packs or something. That some hospitals give you Similac off the back. And also when you're in the delivery room, like not the delivery room, but like the recovery room after you give birth, they could have more breastfeeding lactation specialists to come in and not automatically try to give you Similac or formula. Like they automatically think that Black breastfeeding mother, like not Black breastfeeding mothers specifically, but Black mothers are going to give formula over breastfeeding their baby. So like more of that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Justine, really quickly, like thank you, Destiny, because like I always think about like what are they not doing? I think just to add one point on is to break down what terms mean to moms, and someone needs to be in that room advocating for them, advocate for themselves. Like if for example, if C-sections are pushed on like 40% more in a regular setting, then of course they're not going to be able to be like, oh, okay, like like they're trying to recover from the C-section instead of a nurse going and taking them and feeding them milk automatically. Like Black women do breastfeed, and they should have that choice. They should also have the advocacy there to say, hey, let her try breastfeeding first, and then we'll see how that goes. That's so much better. So yeah, they even said, wow, that's crazy that they even send formula in. Like that's unacceptable. So yeah, we just have to do what we can as a Black community, and especially as a maternal community and village for these moms, to make sure that we're pushing the narrative that needs to actually be pushed.
Absolutely. And we're going to close out shortly. Did you have anything to say, Marketia? Any last words?
I just want to say thank you guys, especially to the moms. I know that a lot of them were cutting out because it's a system that kind of boosts them out just a little, but thank you so much for joining this conversation. As I said before, it is so important to elevate the stories of mothers because they have things to say. Like, I talk to some of these women on a regular basis. I know what it took for them to get here. I understand the cycles. I'm looking at all of these things, and we can do our part in the community and as a village to lift them up because they are also lifting up their children. And it really takes being on the shoulders of giants to continue on with this work. Destiny is interested in helping other moms out in the future. Kayla is a future CNA, so she also wants to help out with birth work. Ayana, who couldn't join us today, is interested in understanding a little bit more about how to bring women into breastfeeding classes so they're able to find that support. So the women want to do the work. Like, they're mothers, they connect to mothering work. So we have to do what we can to bring them in right under us. Like, it shouldn't be a process. Like, I'm 28 and I'm just learning these processes. They're younger than I, and they can be brought into these processes. It shouldn't have to be a rocket science, understanding of how they can be a part of their own community. Thank you guys for joining us. I really appreciate it.
All right. And as Marketia said, we want to thank all of our moms for joining us and celebrating Black Breastfeeding Week's Revive, Restore, Reclaim. Don't forget, in celebration of Black Breastfeeding Week, tomorrow we have an annual baby lift, virtual edition at 3 o'clock. Thanks again for joining us. Anything from you, Crystal?
I want to say thank you to both of you. This was a great panel. I do apologize for the technical difficulties, but thank you to our panelists for trying to weather through and muscle through and kept coming back in the room. You all had some great things to contribute. And I'm so excited that we did something focused on young mothers because I believe that every journey, how you come into motherhood, should be honored and made room for. So this was really, really a beautiful thing. So thank you so much, you all, for coming on. The last thing that I do want to say is that we have one more Facebook Live, and that will be on Monday. We'll have Man Day Monday, and it's the tale of two fathers, and they will be talking about their experience in terms of breastfeeding. So please, please, please join us for that if you can. That'll be Monday at 8 o'clock here on the Black Breastfeeding Facebook page and also on the Den Black Mamas Facebook page as well. So again, thank you all so much. I know it's a Friday night and it's a ton of other places that folks want to be. So, well, they can't go because of COVID, but people make a lot of different choices on Friday night. So I thank you to our panelists for choosing to be here, to our facilitators for choosing to be here as well, and everyone who's watching. Please share this video. It's going to be up forever, so please share it. Yeah, it's on the Black Breastfeeding Week Facebook page. So please share it with at least one person who you feel can benefit from this conversation. So good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Bye, Destiny.